passion to help our people and businesses succeed, making sure every Anguillan has the opportunity to flourish in a beautiful country we call our home. Welcome to the People's Bank. Welcome to the National Commercial Bank of Anguilla. Anguilla is our home. We've been here since the beginning. We are the only indigenous bank on the island. We are the pulse of our communities. We are the bank with a difference. Our commitment to building Anguilla means we value our relationships, friendships, homes, and businesses. Everything we do is done with care and expertise. We serve our people with integrity and pride, ensuring we transact with confidence. It's our passion to help our people and businesses succeed, making sure every Anguillan has the opportunity to flourish in a beautiful country we call our home. Welcome to the People's Bank. Welcome to the National Commercial Bank of Anguilla. Anguilla is our home. We've been here since the beginning. We are the only indigenous bank on the island. We are the pulse of our communities. We are the bank with a difference. Our commitment to building Anguilla means we value our relationships, friendships, homes, and businesses. Everything we do is done with care and expertise. We serve our people with integrity and pride, ensuring we transact with confidence. It's our passion to help our people and businesses succeed, making sure every Anguillan has the opportunity to flourish in a beautiful country we call our home. Welcome to the People's Bank. Welcome to the National Commercial Bank of Anguilla. Anguilla is our home. We've been here since the beginning. We are the only indigenous bank on the island. We are the pulse of our communities. We are the bank with a difference. Our commitment to building Anguilla means we value our relationships, friendships, homes, and businesses. Everything we do is done with care and expertise. We serve our people with integrity and pride, ensuring we transact with confidence. It's our passion to help our people and businesses succeed, making sure every Anguillan has the opportunity to flourish in a beautiful country we call our home. Welcome to the People's Bank. Welcome to the National Commercial Bank of Anguilla. Anguilla is our home. We've been here since the beginning.
Good afternoon, everyone in attendance and those listening and viewing via our social media pages. My name is Ivan Khanna, and in my capacity as the marketing consultant to the National Commercial Bank of Anguilla, I would like to welcome you to our Facebook Live press launch of the 2022 Inter-Primary School Football Tournament. I think everyone at this table and in the room is pretty much excited that the staging of this tournament would happen this year, having not had the opportunity last year due to COVID. There's been some changes. There's been a lot more collaboration and partnership that we will inform the public about this afternoon in this press launch. At the head table, we have the president of the Anguilla Football Association, Mr. Gordon Connor. We have Mr. Romy Kelsik. I was going to call your full name. We have Mr. Romy Kelsik from the National Commercial Bank of Anguilla. And I must say this, Romy is a guy that I call on for everything, so I'm not going to call his official title in the bank. He is a stalwart in the institution. He has been associated not just with the institution since its inception, but prior, the National Bank of Anguilla, who I understand would have been hosting supporting sponsoring this tournament for 32 years? Just about 32 years. And he has been an integral part of football and development with our young people on the island in other capacities. Then we have Mr. Colin Johnson, who is the technical director at AFA, and our chief education officer, Teacher Bren. I call him Teacher Bren because he taught me, so I'm not going to call him Mr. Romney like everybody else. That's your preferred title, Teacher Bren. All right, so this afternoon we are just going to brief the listening public about the new changes to the tournament and what you can expect. The tournament starts this Sunday, 9th of October. And we have as well in the room with us representatives from every school. I see our female and male captains, I would assume, and our coaches and our school representatives as well as some other colleagues from the Anguilla Football Association. With that being said, I will just ask Mr. Romy Kelsik to just give you a brief history overview of NCBA's commitment to football in Anguilla.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It is good to see a number of the young players out here this afternoon, because this tournament is for you and it is about you. And this is NCBA's 5th year sponsoring the tournament. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we were unable to host the tournament last year. So this is the 5th year. However, we have partnered again with the Anguilla Football Association and also the Education Department to ensure that the students will once again have an opportunity to participate in the primary school football competition. This is not just about winning, but this is NCBA's commitment to the development of Anguilla, because it's an investment in the youth, because we all know sports play an integral part in the development of anyone, because it teaches our kids discipline, respect for authority, team building, because one person cannot win a game, so you need the team. So it's a focus on developing the youth holistically, and NCBA is very happy to be a part of this. And once again, we thank the schools, the Education Department, the Anguilla Football Association for partnering with us, because it is an event that the kids not only look forward to, but we have a number of supporters, adult supporters who come out and cheer on the children to ensure that the tournament is a success. So NCBA, this is the 5th year, and we'll be here to sponsor many more of these types of tournaments.
Thank you, Mr. Kelsik. I will now ask the president of the Anguilla Football Association, in the person of Mr. Gordon Connor, to greet you and bring any remarks from the AFA.
Thank you, Ivan, and thank you as well, Mr. Kelsik, representing NCBA. And welcome to everyone. On behalf of the Anguilla Football Association, we want to thank you for the continued commitment, as well as the Department of Sports and Education. I think this year we had very good relationship exchanging and planning, and we want to look forward to that collaboration, and also invite other members of the public and the corporate community to invest in sports and invest in our youth. To all our players here, we look forward to an exciting tournament. I would say this is one of the best tournaments, and I'm always excited to see and identify all of the new talent that's available. And we look forward to a very good time, and good congratulations to all of the coaches. I know you've put in a lot of hard work, and we want to welcome you to this press as well and look forward to a great time. Our technical director will give a breakdown of all the rules and the changes to this tournament. So again, welcome and thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. A few things were mentioned just now that stood out to me, and I know Teacher Colin, the technical director, will expound on this some more. But Mr. Connor touched on it, the level of talent and exchange that is seen in this tournament and the level of anticipation and excitement this tournament brings across the island cannot be understated. And it was brought to the forefront in all our planning and our discussions to get to this point, to make these changes for the improvement of the tournament, because at the heart of the tournament, the bank's position is that the children and their development and their soft skills and those things should come to the forefront. On that note, I will ask the Chief Education Officer, Teacher Bren, to make some remarks.
Thank you, Thank you, Mr. Connor. And let me also say a hearty thank you to the President of the Anguilla Football Association, Mr. Kelsick, representing the NCBA, and Teacher Colin, our technical director. I am extremely grateful to these two organizations, the NCBA, our local bank, and I say our because it's our institution, in every sense of the word from its history. It's always the bank of the people, for the people, I should say. And I want to say a hearty thank you to AFA. Without these two institutions providing the resources and expertise, this tournament would not have survived for the period of time that it's been around. And it goes without saying that it's a significant part of the sporting landscape in Anguilla. We are working with our children at their youngest, developing within them the skill set necessary not only to survive or to do a sport well, but we're imparting to them the skills necessary for life, for general well-being. And some of those skills go beyond just general well-being. It goes into, as was previously mentioned, team building, respect for others, respect for authority. All right? These are invaluable skills, and any opportunity that is provided to us to impart them to our young persons, we must always take full advantage of it and do the best we can. So the department is pleased to partner with these institutions to ensure that this tournament comes off on a year-to-year basis and that it's successful. It would be remiss of me, though, if I don't also turn to not only our children who continue to participate annually. We do appreciate your efforts. We appreciate the enthusiasm that you bring to the game and the commitment, practicing after hours, practicing on weekends, not only to do well for yourselves and your school, but to ensure the overall success of this enterprise. I am also eternally grateful to all the sports reps from the various schools that are participating and the coaches that work with our children on a daily basis to ensure that they're well prepared. And also those who, and not only that they're well prepared, but also that that they're able to participate in the tournament. So your sacrifices are well noted and well documented, and we are extremely grateful to all the hard work that you put into the process. So my message this afternoon is simply just that we are extremely grateful to all of you. If anything we can do to make the process easier and seamless, please don't hesitate to let us know. All right, so I would just say for that, I turn back to the chairperson.
Thank you, Teacher Bren. I must say that we are missing one integral partner from the table right now, and that's the Department of Sports. But they have a part to play in this entire process as well. She is here. Oh, she is here. I thank you for joining us. Do you want to say anything from the Department of Sports?
You can have a seat.
You can have a seat here at the table. I didn't recognize you in the back.
You're coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a seat.
All right. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would just like to say thanks to everyone in the room for their contribution towards the tournament over the years. It's important that we encourage these types of tournaments because, of course, at this level is the foundation for our future senior players that will go on to participate in regional and international tournaments. So the Department of Sports will always be available to provide whatever support we can to ensuring that this tournament takes place annually.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Before I turn over to Mr. Johnson, who's going to give us the meat of the matter today on a number of things, I just want to reiterate something that we've all made a commitment to in the capacity as partners for this tournament, and that is the sentiments that were echoed over and over by our CEO at NCBA, Mrs. Charmaine Vaughn, and that is every child must play. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the same chorus is sung through your grassroots programs and other programs at the AAFA. And even most recently in travels of the national team, Mr. Johnson will speak to that, the under-17 team. And it's not, under 14 team. And it's the tone that this tournament hopes to set, in that it will give every child an opportunity to improve not just on their skills, but their soft skills and every aspect and facet of their lives. Their overall development is what this tournament focuses on, and Mr. Johnson will elaborate on all those details at this point.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. Good afternoon, sorry. Let me just recognize the protocol established for the head table. I would also like to take the opportunity to welcome all the coaches, the teachers, the players, and even I see some parents for coming here today. This is a testimony to how big this particular tournament is. I always say that this is a tournament that brings everybody together. Sometimes I go to the game and I see even the dogs and the cats. And now that we're going out into the community, I'm expecting to see even more animals involved, because it's important that the whole community gets involved. And I always find that the lower down we get, the more interest we have. So perhaps we need to look into a preschool competition. And perhaps we will have the whole country watching, but be that as is may. I'm very happy to be here. And I want to apologize, though, for the late start. But having gone through COVID, there was a lot of uncertainty. And I tried to push hard to make sure that it happened. And we have collaborated with the bank, the Ministry of Education, and of course, all our other stakeholders to make sure that this tournament happens. And one of the reasons why we decided to have this press conference is because we recognize that it's through partnership that we're going to sustain this tournament. And above all, I think that because we are making some slight changes, the importance of your input becomes even greater, because we have to together promote it and make sure that we get the quality. I just want to say before I go to the rules that I believe that the primary school, the NCBA primary school football tournament is the one tournament that the playing field is level. And that is, we think about big school and small school. There is no small school in primary school competition. And that's because the numbers are small. And you could check the records. Everybody feel like they could win. And when you feel that way, it brings even more interest. So I just want to say that this year is particularly important because we are going out into the communities. I think that one of the aim of football is to get community involvement. And what we're trying to do within the Football Association, we're developing fields within the different communities. And we feel that we can help to bridge the gap between what's happening within the forces, for example, the violence. We can't just go back and take the people, but we could do it little by little, and I believe that we could try to do it through football. And so, I know the important thing is our security. We met with the security forces yesterday, and we established that tight security throughout the tournament is key. And so when we look at the first couple of games, if it is that we need to improve that, we will, because security before, during, and after, not just for the players, but also the fans and the officials, is of paramount importance, not just for the Football Association, but for the school and the bank. With that being said, the two most important issues that people look at when the tournament begins is the schedules and the uniform. So, Mr. President, you're going to help me with the uniform at the end. I'll leave that to last. That's the most exciting part. But in terms of the scheduling, as I said, we have arranged for the games to be played at 3 different venues. Originally, we wanted to play at 3 venues at the same time, but we recognized that because of logistics, it might be better if we played 2 at a time. That is, we play first at Aurelia Kelly and the Coronation, and mainly because of the lighting issue. And then the first week, it's the Aurelia Kelly's ground, and then the second week, it will be the Adrian T. Hazel ground, both of them in collaboration with the Coronation Park. So whenever there's a game played at Aurelia Kelly, there'll be one played also at Coronation Park. And in the second week now, everything moves. All the lights and videos and whatever, they will go to the Adrian T. So the second week, it's Adrian T and Coronation. And then the final week, which is the semifinals and the finals, we will have all of that at the stadium. You ask why we do that. 2 things. We have to rest the field at the park. It needs some rest and repair. And at the same time, we also want to filter the sports into the different community, because I think that the people deserve that. But we also want to make sure that we spread the tournament. I've been given the ultimatum, don't go more than 2 weeks. I begged for 3. And so we want to work within that so that we could make sure that we fulfill the objectives for the bank and the Ministry of Education. We also decided that we will give the schools at least 2 rest days, which will be there Tuesday and a Thursday. Also, if there is any makeup game, we could make up then. But it is important that during the week, the teachers, the students, have at least some time for themselves, because we know when football is played, no work is being done. That's what they tell me. I don't know if it's true. I see the teachers watching me hard. So I have shared, and I've shared the schedule, the rules, and whatever else with the Ministry of Education, the bank, and the coaches, school reps. I don't think I have everybody in my list for the school reps, because they have some special people I don't know about. But I'm willing to add those persons so that whatever happens in the football for primary school, it will be shared with all the stakeholders. So I would add those persons, and all the information will be filtered. So you would have had the rules, and we made a few adjustments to the rules. We recognize, though, that because of the nature of the tournament, we can't make too many changes at the same time. Eventually, you will want something, but we'd have to take it piece by piece. The slogan is, everyone must play. We will ultimately put in place a provision where we could monitor to ensure that everybody will play. We don't have the facilities right now, but by next year, we'll have that in place. When we went to the Under-14 tournament in August, one of the stipulations was that every single player must play at least 90 minutes total. And so at the end of each game, they will tally up the amount of time that the persons play. And before we play the next game, we know how many minutes Mr. Romney played. So if Mr. Romney did not play in any game and has to play the last game, even if he played the whole game, our team will be penalized. In other words, you could not be in the semifinals if everybody didn't play 90 minutes. The games were 70 minutes. So even if Mr. Romney played 70 minutes, we will still be penalized because he still owes us 20 minutes. So we have made a few changes. The first one I would like to look at is rule number 9, which states when ranking teams for the playoff, if 2 or more teams are tied on points at the end of the round robin stage, their respective positions will be determined by using the following tiebreakers in this order. The first thing will be points in head-to-head games or matches. So to look at what was the score between Mr. Romney and I first. Also, the second step would be overall number of wins in the round-robin stage. So if you had more wins than I had, then you will go ahead. Then the youngest average age might make much sense to you. But when you look at the age of the team, we will average it, and if it is that we have to reach to that stage, we'll use that. And then the final one will be coin toss between the 2 teams or drawing of lots. You notice that we took out the most important one, that is goal average. Because if we're saying that everyone must play, there are 2 things that we're trying to encourage. One, giving as much opportunity as possible. And the bank raised very serious concern about the strongest team. Notice I didn't say the biggest schools, but the strongest team mounting up the scores against the youngest teams or the inexperienced team. We're trying to control that because the aim of the competition is not to embarrass anyone or to turn people away, but to play competitively within the rules of the game and encourage teamwork and sportsmanship. And I feel, or we feel, that by mounting up the score 10, 15, whatever, it doesn't give a good image as to what we want to do in football and what football and the bank is all about. So we took out the goal average because if you're saying that goal average is going to determine whether you're going to the playoff or not, I need to go into the playoffs. I go try and score as many goals as possible. So we feel that in order to control that, we took that out. I know everybody's not going to agree with it, but maybe 10 years from now you will understand. I would also like to draw your attention to rule number 12. If a game has been cancelled or called off due to bad weather or poor lights, this match should be played on an off day, which will be the Tuesday or the Thursday, or if it is that we can fit you in one of the regular days, if it does not hamper the schedule too much. And if this match cannot be played at all, we can't fit it in, then both teams will be awarded 1 point and 1 goal each. I move to a point under Rule 16. It says, and this is something that the referees, the officials came up with. Normally we will have a distance of 10 feet in between the players and the balls on a free kick. We are saying we're going to use 7 feet instead because of the age of the children. You don't need to go all the distance back. Rule number 18, well, not a rule, but a requirement. It is the duty of the coach during these development matches to manage their players' playing time responsibly. Each registered player must have an opportunity to play. Coaches are encouraged to utilize all available players on their roster to help manage player fatigue and reduce the risk of player burnout or injuries. So we can't tell you, or we're not telling you that a player can't play for the whole game. We're not telling you who to play and when to play them. What we are asking you to do is to manage the players so that they could play not just the whole tournament safely, but to ensure also that other players get opportunity. I'm not going to hide, but sometimes I myself have been guilty because you want to win. Players go through the whole tournament and they maybe get 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or none at all. We're trying to get rid of that because we feel that we want people to feel that they are worthwhile and that everybody feel that they have the same opportunity. We are not saying that we're going to water down the tournament. Play to win, play to advance. Yes? we are also, just like we are partnershiping with the Department of Education and the bank, we are also using this opportunity to develop our officials. So one of the things that we're going to be working on this year, right now there are some young referees in training, developing referees, and we're going to use them in this tournament. I remember the last time we played, we used some development referees, and there's something distinct that happened. After the very first game, I went to congratulate the coaches, and they said to me, we have to do something about these young referees. In the final game, we had the most experienced referee in the tournament refereeing, and he made the most blatant error that decided the tournament. So it's not so much who you have, but being able to work with what you have to get the best out of the tournament. Rule number 20, foul throws. We're encouraging proper rules and regulations for the games. But here's what. Instead of asking the players to give the ball to the next team, we'll ask them to rethrow. So it says here, foul throws shall not be awarded to the opposing team in this tournament. If a player takes a throw-in incorrectly, the referee shall allow the same player to retake the throw and provide him or her with guidance for the correct throw-in technique. However, we're not going to stay there all day teaching him. 2 or 3 opportunity, and unless the player blatantly jump up and fling the ball and it results in something, we will try as much as possible to accommodate it, but at the same time use it as a teaching moment. Yes? Rule number 21, players' conduct. I think this is very important. We started with the idea of no yellow card, no red card, but here's what it is. A player that is sent off may be replaced with an available substitute. In other words, generally in the rule of the game, once you're sent off, you would have to play with 6. I think that because we're dealing with young people, we will allow you to bring on somebody else. So you want, some persons are already at a big disadvantage. For example, he might be losing the game 4-0 after 3 minutes, and you take off a player. That's already 10-0 in the next minute. And that's what we're trying to avoid. Yes? But hear this. A player sent off, that is, given a red card for either violent conduct, because we're trying to cut that out, or offensive, insulting, or abusive language, like the bad words, or being racist, will be suspended for his team's next match in the tournament. So we're penalizing the player, but not the team, I hope. And the final thing I have here is that the organizing committee, that is the NCBA, the Anguilla Football Association, the Department of Education, is aware that children's football can involve mismatches and significant differences between the abilities of teams. However, we must remember that the player development is the primary objective of this tournament, and our values of respect, fair play, and sportsmanship must be sent out throughout. Youth coaches have a responsibility to help create the positive environment in which children can learn and enjoy the game. Lopsided score lines negatively impact the playing experience for many young children and make it much more difficult to encourage their participation in the sport in the future. So that last note determines our objective and what we're looking for in this tournament. That, in a big nutshell, is what we're looking forward to. And I just want to say, people, that I know that there's some persons who have reservations about playing the tournaments outside. We will bring you back. We did it before, and one of my greatest experience was playing at Road School at that time, and there was a barrier behind me, and they had about 1 million people breathing down my neck, and I felt as if I was on the field and in the crowd at the same time. It was a great experience, but when I looked up and I saw the grandmother sitting in a chair and the grandfather with his walking stick walking across, I said, this is what football is all about. That's what sports is all about. So we now reach the most exciting part, and that is the uniform. Give us some good youth, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for sharing the rules and the reason and the vision for all stakeholders involved in this process. And in terms of the uniforms, we'll arrange a time. It'll be communicated by Ivan and the person responsible for the school for pickup sometime tomorrow. So everyone will get an opportunity to take it home, practice at home in the uniform, and be ready for the games on Sunday. Mr. Johnson, you did not mention, but could you give the times for the first set of games on Sunday?
Oh, just want to clear something. We know we have a march pass. It's coming from?
It's coming from Campus B.
Okay, so there will be a march pass at 3:30. We want everybody to assemble by 3 so that we could start the ceremony by 3:30. So if we assemble at Campus B, we're going to have band?
Yes.
Okay, so feel free to dance. And of course, we want you to have your flags, your balloons, whatever, so you could look like a big spectacle. And we will start the ceremony at 3:30. And then right after that, the game starts at about 4:30. There's something that I forgot to mention. Because we are playing at different venues, the most important thing now will be collecting the information and disseminating to the coaches and the public. That will be organized where by 8 o'clock after every game, that will be sent in the chat that I have. It will be sent to the schools and it will be sent through our media places.
Should schools use their banners, or that's not necessary?
I think so. And you're talking about when?
For the March pass?
Yes, we are looking for the flags, banners, flags again, I mean small flags, and balloons. And I dare say that I know you have cheerleaders. Bring them. Because, you know, some people might not get on the field, but they want a chance to, you know, be supportive.
One of the things that I think we should mention here, we discussed this in our last meeting, was a Team Spirit Award. The Team Spirit Award is not just about the fair play and the athletes that's participating in the tournament directly, but it will start from the numbers showing up for the March Pass. It'll start from your presentation at the March Pass. That's why Mr. Johnson and Mr. Romney asked about the school banners and the like. If you want to make it look like your March Pass for Sports Day, then you do that. Because we will be paying attention, and I guess we can talk a little bit about awards a little further down the conversation after you probably give some schedule highlights. But that Team Spirit Award is going to be represented throughout the tournament. And one of the things that we forgot to mention, an advantage of having the tournament played at what would be home fields now, if you want to call it that, we are hoping that throughout the tournament, you know, the lessons that the tournament wants to bring forward about fair play, about acceptance, about camaraderie and teamwork, but about pride as well. Not just national pride, but school pride. So we're hoping on the match days, you know, you can have your children all rallied up in your assembly. You know, I would like to hear when you get into Adrian T, you know, I would like to hear the Rams. I don't know if a Ram ba or ma, but whatever you do, you know, make it about that. The children need this. And I think as a community, we need this as well. So find ways to make sure that that pride and that spirit is translated through the entire tournament.
While you talk about that, there's something that we discussed when we had the coaches and the reps in meeting. And that is the protocol before the game and after the game. We would like the teams to exchange handshakes, or if you don't want to shake on the little daps at the start of the game, just before they get on the field. And at the end of the game, the two things that we're looking for, the exchange of handshakes or greetings between the coaches first. It must happen even before the children do it. And then the exchange of greetings again. If you're not safe shaking hands, Mr. Romney, just give me a little elbow. Yes. Because what we want to show is that this is what the tournament is all about. Right. And this type of behavior must also be extended to the officials. So when you exchange greetings with the players, that must be done with the officials also. regardless to the outcome of the games or how much the emotions are flowing at that time.
If I add something here, it's not coincidence. I don't think it was planned outside of Romy because he's celebrating Financial Information Month. But Mr. Johnson, you're wearing green. And those who follow the bank's social media pages and otherwise, you would note that the National Commercial Bank of Anguilla Limited has started its Go Green campaign. The bank is extremely concerned, but more so committed towards a paperless environment, but any efforts that would support the sustainability of our ecosystem. I said that mouthful to say that we are playing at the schools, and at these games we tend to have plastic cups and napkins and snacks and things that blow. Now the onus is on every person attending the tournament, attending the play, not just the students, not just the schools, to ensure that you use the receptacles which will be made available for your trash. You must remember the fields are at these schools and they're open and this stuff will blow across the schools and we don't want that. As a matter of fact, the last time the games were played at the schools, Mr. Johnson had to go with garbage bags the next morning to pick up the trash at some areas. So we want to make sure that we are a little bit more environmentally friendly in this context.
Transportation. I spoke with Mr. Romney, and we are going to try to assist with transportation for teams that are traveling. For example, if Vivian Vanderpool have to come to Aurelia Kelly and vice versa, if Aurelia Kelly has to go to, we're arranging transportation even on the weekends. And I know the president has no problem with me saying that in cases where the school is not able to do that, we'll chip in and try to help to bring them there. But we'll crave the indulgence that after the game, parents, coaches help us to take them home. We also had a very serious discussion with the security that we will try to do, ask the police to do patrol during the game, but we'll ask them to stay at least a half an hour after the game and come at least an hour before the game to make sure that the facilities are secured. And one of the things I stress, because we're using the schools, it's not just the grounds. We have to ensure, because I'm going to ask Mr. Romney to help us to have access to the bathrooms. And so we have to make sure that we take care of those facilities, because I know what's going to happen the next time we're not going back there. So what happens in terms of how our people treat the bathrooms and the facilities, including the grounds, is so important.
If I must add, and I don't want it to be understated, the bank, the AFA, and the Department of Education in collaboration has ensured that every school have new uniforms for this tournament. Brand spanking new uniforms for this tournament. We've heard the cries over the years. You know, I've seen some of the children came here, you're wearing your school colors and you're proud, but some of them are not in a state that the bank would like, especially the schools, because it's not a representation of our brand and what we stand for. So every school would have new uniforms. Now I'm going to say this here openly so persons can understand that I don't mean no ill when I say it, but at the end of the tournament, and I'm putting this on record here, and you'll get communications about this from the technical director and from the schools as well, these uniforms have to be returned. Let me make another mention why I'm talking about the uniforms. No longer are we going to be able to say that we don't have enough children to play because there are not enough uniforms. When the bank, the AFA, the education department says that everyone must play, that is what we mean. So the smallest child that you see have potential, put them in a uniform, and if you give them 3 minutes, you give them some time on the field. If you give them 2 minutes, you give them some time on the field. Because the focus of this tournament is the development of our youth. And everyone on this table has said that today, and I don't think that should not be stated again. You want to touch on any highlights of the schedule? I know you mentioned that we're starting at AFA on Sunday after the March Pass. Anything you want to highlight?
Yes, I remember when I met with the group first, I said that the official schedule will be sent out, and it would say this is the official schedule. So I had a lot of, not a lot, but some concerns about the schedule. It's not perfect, but the one that was sent out yesterday, so scrap all the others, is the official schedule that we have. That's the official schedule. And I think I haven't had any, I don't know if I addressed Mr. Tashim on, but I think we tried as much as possible to meet persons' demands and persons' needs. And of course, especially when you are working with an odd number, sometimes you have problems in getting everybody to be perfect, but we try as much as possible to have it as balanced as possible. And so we also try to balance the away games and the home games. Some persons might be off a bit in terms of they might have a lot more home games, and some persons might have a lot more away games. But what we try to do, if we don't do well in one area, we make up in the other area. So I hope that the schedule pleases everyone. And if you have any real concern, because as I said before, it's not every time that we pick up something. If there's something that seems really off, feel free to mention it, and if at all we can address it, we will.
On that note, I don't know if anyone in attendance, coaches, parents, players, and students have any questions that you would want us to answer now. I see one in the back raising his hand. Adrian T. Hazel, Primary School, you're recognized.
Good afternoon. Raise up the voice a little. Raise up your voice a little bit.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to thank the bank, Ministry of Education, Sports Department, and Football Association for organizing this tournament once again. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to be part of it. Well, my question is, you said with the free kicks that usually international rules is 10 yards away from the ball, and you all change it to 7 yards, which is going to make it very difficult for the children to try to get it over. If it was further, we'll give them a better chance of taking a free, but closer, it's going to be really, really harder. So I would advise all you look into it and see what we could come up with.
Thank you very much. We will look into it for sure. And before the first game, we will advise you whether we'll leave it at 10, put it at 12, or leave it at 7.
Okay, one thing I have to mention, this is a children's tournament. And I believe it's law, or it's legislated, that alcohol cannot be served in a certain proximity to schools during school hours.
Correct.
School hours are extended during these times if you want to honestly look at it that way, and the chief education officer confirms that. So persons, we're going out in the community, you might have vendors that may come around. First and foremost, we want vending to be done by the schools. Give the schools an opportunity to make some money. Graduations are coming up, they have events. Give the schools an opportunity to make some money at these events to vend. We can't stop anybody specifically from coming, but we will ask you kindly not to bring any alcohol around the events, the games.
When we speak about vending, this is my idea. I will verify it with the chief education officer. The schools that are playing should have priority in terms of vending. What we will do is to get an idea. Everybody would have to tell us whether or not they will be selling at their games. If it is that you want to sell at somebody's game because they don't have anything, you would have to collaborate with the school and get permission from that school who is playing. So if it is that Maurice Vanterpool is playing at Aurelia Kelly, it doesn't mean that Aurelia Kelly has the right to sell. It's two schools that are playing there that has priority. If for some reason you are not going to be selling anything and another school wants to, they will have to get the okay from you, because you don't want, when you're selling, everybody going over there buying pops and the school that is holding the event can't get it sold. So we'll work that out within the Ministry of Education so that everybody gets a fair chance to do some vending.
On that note, any further questions? Nothing from our children, athletes represented? Nothing from our teachers, parents? Anything else? All good. Well, I'll just give the panel one last word. I'll start with Mr. Khanna. We'll go this way, Mr. Khanna, Mr. Kelsick, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Romney.
Thank you, Chair. And thanks everyone that came out today and listened to the launch of the primary school tournament. And we begin on Sunday. And I said before, the aim is to integrate sports into the community. And this is a start. By next year, hopefully, we'll branch further out into the east and further west to give everyone an opportunity to witness and see the game and notice the talent we have here in Anguilla. And again, thanks for the collaboration with Department of Education, Department of Sports, and of course the commitment from NCBA. We look forward to a great tournament, and I wish all the teams all the best.
Before we go first, based on the uniforms, how much uniform do you expect to distribute for schools? Good question. I said, based on the uniforms, how much uniforms do you expect to distribute?
18.
Yeah. You can go?
Yes, a total of 18 uniforms, 16 on field for players, and 2 goalkeepers. Per team, per male team and per female team.
Just one more on that. Is it the same type of uniform? Or is something different? Like that?
A different style. The same colors are represented.
The reason why I said that is because, for instance, if I have a section of 18 players, 19 players, let me use 19. I don't want to drop 2 players. I prefer to put the player into a full uniform for me. That's why I said shift uniform.
Yeah. So we could discuss that with the technical committee after the meeting.
Gordon, just if you could repeat Colin's question for Mr. Johnson, because I think he might be able to shed some light.
Yeah, what's the question?
Yes, he may have more than 18 players rostered for the tournament, and so he's wondering if he could dress a few additional players maybe in the older uniform for the games, or maybe have a game day squad.
That would create a problem. I think we have to stick to 18 because, you know, either you're looking at me, but I know you're going to say no because it's 2 different sets of uniform. So Colin, I know where you're going. Okay, the reason why I said that because a lot of teams are struggling, for instance, with girls. Let me use the word, girls and boys. Even me, as a big school, I have struggled with boys and girls. I have to dig deep. And if I get a squad of exactly 20 girls come out, I feel bad to drop at least 3 girls. I think it's hurtful for me to say I'm going to leave out 3 girls. That's how I got it right now.
So,
Especially coming from
I understand.
hunting.
I understand that we want to promote everyone playing. I understand those struggles. But is it that you have to dress 20 girls every day? Every match? Because there are persons on a team that don't suit up to play, even in the NBA, in La Liga or whatever you watch, persons on squad that don't dress because of injury or otherwise. So I'm just saying that there's a workaround. It's 18 brand new uniforms. The bank would have made a significant financial contribution as well as AFA and education to get these here. I think everybody will be pleased. I know they're going to be bright and shiny and everybody's going to want to wear new uniforms. Give them a chance to wear them. The numbers don't have names on the back. So I think if we can have that as a walk-around, you have your game day squad. And if you're going to dress this is good, thanks for bringing that up. If you're going to have persons on your team that aren't dressed to play, you'd have to address that with the technical department, but they have to look a certain way to sit on the bench and to be, I almost said ringside, on the field.
I'm glad you brought that up. Go ahead.
Because this also extends to the coaches and any technical persons that will be on the field area. The code of dress is something that Mr. Johnson can address now.
Okay. So my friends, Colin, you just want yourself 2 extra jersey because if you notice on my list, it says what? all teams must register 16 players. Because in the past, it used to be 14 outfield players and 2. So I'm now learning that is 16 outfield players and 2. So you got 2 extra. So we'd have 18 persons who are providing uniforms for, and in terms of the closing ceremony, we'll provide, oh, that's an area that you forget. Everybody will get a medal at the end of it, where the teams that came the first, second, and third, they will get the trophies. We want to make sure everybody get a medal. It will mean that we're not going to bother to give medals again to the first, second, and third, just to everybody, and then the first, second, and third, they will get their trophies.
Individual awards.
Yes.
You want to touch on individual awards?
But it's the same as last year, except we took out the, I think we took over the top goal scorer. Go ahead.
Just one more question. Based on playing time, you say if you, for instance, a team that have 19 players, you're saying 19 players have to play 60 minutes, or have to play?
We haven't put that in place. We're saying we're encouraging you for throughout the whole tournament. They even don't have to. Well, we want you to play them as much as possible. It's not possible. We know it's not humanly possible for you to play every player in every game.
Okay.
Okay, that's not what we're saying.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Also, I forget to talk about the tag. We'll be giving 3 passes, official, NCBA, Angola Football Association, Ministry of Education pass to each school, so that when you, and I say 3 each school, I mean 3 for the girls, 3 for the male, so that those persons will be the official persons that will be on the bench or in the technical area with the players. 3 persons per school, per team. So in other words, 3 for the girls, 3 for the boys. And normally we will make fight and argument with the security guard. So don't go fight because you're the principal of the school. Because you're going to start confusion. If you want to come into the technical area, unless there's an emergency, where we need the parents or somebody else, because we're trying to control the flow. And a lot of times, I know because I did it before, you're on the bench, you're trying to coach, and the mommy they're saying something else and making confusion with the officials. So we try to control that. So we will make sure. And then, again, Colin, I understand what you're trying to say, because I know some persons are not so fortunate, but some persons are fortunate where they have 40 and they have to leave out 20 or 22. But it's easy now for somebody to have to leave out 2. I don't know. But that is the reality, people. It's so difficult. And of course, I always say I don't worry about the children. It's the parents that cause a lot of the trouble. I would love everybody to play. And that's what I want us to do, right? As much as possible, put the children first. In playing and in coaching, I recognize that sometimes we look at putting our vision, putting our needs. For example, myself and Samaru have a very good rivalry going on. And so we want to win, we want to beat each other. But sometimes we forget the players need to play and enjoy the game too. And sometimes we ask for lots of rules that suits us, but not suit the tournament and the development of the players. So we will try as much as possible. We have to cut somewhere. I'm so happy to hear the president say 18. So now we got 2 other players to add. And I noticed some of the smaller schools, they say 18, and I can finally barely find 9. So if you see what I'm saying, you're asking for 2 extra, but some of the schools are saying, but I can't even find 9. So it works both ways. Without being facetious, I would just like to ask, I am seeing my friend here, maybe in this business for the first time. Is there any question you'd like to ask? Are you clear on everything? Because what we have done, we have invited the combined school to come in as an entity. They were there the last time, so we extended the invitation, and we want to make sure that they're comfortable. And of course, we accommodate them as best as possible.
All right, Romy, your closing remarks.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. I would just like to say in closing, thank you to all the stakeholders, the parents, the players, the schools, the bank, education department, Angular Football Association, and the Angular Sports Office. Thank you again for partnering with NCBA. And Mr. Johnson touched on something I wanted to add in my remarks is that we must remember the tournament is about the kids. This is about the kids. I know we get excited, we want our schools to win, but we all have to remember you're representing all the organizations that I just mentioned, the stakeholders, because at these events, if you display behavior that is not suitable, you're not sending a good image for the brand. And you know, it's all about the brand. It's about the kids, and we want this tournament to be a successful one, longevity. We want to encourage sponsorship. You heard the president mentioned earlier that he's encouraging other corporate entities to come on board and sponsor sports in general, not just football, sports in general. And this is one of the ways that you can encourage sponsorship. And remember, in football, we always stress fair play. It's about fair play. So that being said, may the best team win. Thank you for participating. And I look forward to the kids enjoying themselves and we having a successful football tournament, one that persons will brag about, and we can make it even better next year.
Mr. Johnson?
I thought I wrapped up already.
I don't know if you had a lot to say.
That was my wrapping up speech, so let me just pass it over.
Mr. Romney?
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I just wanted to echo what I said before, how grateful we are to all the partners, to the coaches, the school reps, all the children, and their parents and families that are participating. My hope and wish is that we'll have a safe and fun-filled event. I welcome, like I told the AFA already, I welcome the move to take the game into the communities, and we hope that the communities receive the games in the spirit in which they're intended, and that they will respond in like manner. I want to echo the comments about general conduct. I think it's important that we all of us do our part and self-monitor, because irrespective to the level of security that is there are going to be spots where security officers might not see, or things that security officers might not see. But the rest of us, the general, those of us participating and involved, and those of us as spectators, can help to self-monitor and ensure that the environment remains safe for all concerned. All right, so I want to thank you all again and wish everyone a successful season.
Thank you. All right, in closing, I will just like to express a heartfelt thanks on behalf of the National Commercial Bank of Angola Board of Directors, management, and staff, to everyone, our partners, our stakeholders, and wish the best, a healthy, successful tournament to all our children in schools participating. The children in the room, thank you for coming out. I know today was a holiday. You probably had plans on playing Roblox all afternoon. Our teachers who would have loved this day to rest, our school reps, you are here. And that echoes the commitment of everyone involved in this tournament. So we are looking forward to our entire community having a great tournament. Like we've said, the games are coming to you. Come out and enjoy the games. And when the finals and the semifinals come out to those two. But most importantly, come out on Sunday afternoon. I don't think there's anything going on that you should miss the March Pass. Say advance thanks to the Boys Brigade, who will be providing some drums for the March Pass. And again, remember the School Spirit Award that's going to be judged from Sunday throughout the tournament. So that means you're not just coming out with your pom-poms on Sunday. If you bring your cheerleaders to the games, do that too. They're going to be at your school. Let's start to promote this school spirit throughout. So whether it be Blue Ram, Golden Horse, Maroon Dragon, Pink Panther, Grey Wolf. I was doing good and I think I forget somebody else now. The Gators. Who am I missing? That's 6 schools combined. Combined. What's your mascot? You know? maybe the Dolphins. Let's try that to start something. You'll have it by next time. But I must say, I'm grateful, and I think the bank is grateful as well, that the schools who have smaller populations would have come together. And that's the spirit that we want to have permeate through this entire tournament, coming together. Fair play. Make sure the children on the field, they respect each other. They understand that in a couple of years, you might play alongside this person in your house. At the Albina Lake Arch Comprehensive High School, we tend to forget that we have one high school on island. When I told people that when I was in university, they laughed at me because I didn't quite understand, the school rivalry outside of primary school. That's why football is so big, sports day is so big. And then there's one community, whether we leave it or not, Anguilla is only so wide and so long. And chances are who you're sitting next to either went to school with your mother, know your father, a cousin of yours or something. So let's promote more community. That's a hallmark of the bank's efforts as well. Let's promote more community. Let's promote more positive energy out there through the 2022 National Commercial Bank of Anguilla Inter-Primary School Football Tournament. Thank you everyone for listening. If you have any questions, be sure to stay connected to the NCBA Facebook page, AFA Facebook page in Anguilla, Department of Education Facebook page. The scores will be posted there. The match day events will be posted there, among other things. On a final note, and I must say this, Mr. Gilbert A. Fleming of In Anguilla, Titanium Audiovisual, he is our go-to behind the camera. Thank you very much for this effort here today. The bright, shiny camera. I think everybody who didn't want to be on camera and were concerned, we can see ourselves there, all the children in the room. Thank you, Gav, for the technical support now and always. And we look forward again, finally, to a wonderful, exciting tournament. And may the deserving team win.
Yes, and we will try to get all, if not as many of the game live. We have been working on that, so that should happen. I will stick on for a few minutes if anybody has anything to ask me or comments to make. I need to take notes. Thank you very much. Refreshments.
How much goals you score in this tournament?
Care and expertise. We serve our people with integrity and pride, ensuring we transact with confidence. It's our passion to help our people and businesses succeed, making sure every Anguillian has the opportunity to flourish in a beautiful country we call our home. Welcome to the People's Bank. Welcome to the National Commercial Bank of Anguilla. Anguilla is our home. We've been here since the beginning. We are the only indigenous bank on the island. We are the pulse of our communities. We are the bank with a difference. Our commitment to building Anguilla means we value our relationships, friendships, homes, and businesses. Everything we do is done with care and expertise. We serve our people with integrity and pride, ensuring we transact with confidence. It's our passion to help our people and businesses succeed, making sure every Anguillian has the opportunity to flourish in a beautiful country we call our home. Welcome to the People's Bank. Welcome to the National Commercial Bank of Anguilla. Anguilla is our home. We've been here since the beginning. We are the only indigenous bank on the island. We are the pulse of our communities. We are the bank with a difference. Our commitment to building Anguilla means we value our relationships, friendships, homes,